Larry Hall and Joe Corrado.
Welcome everybody to Brotherly Love Wrestling, and on today's show we have Big Dan Champion joining us and finally coming back to the show. Dan, welcome back.
I feel like you got to say it bigger when you say big. Like you got to put some balls behind it. Like Big Dan Champion.
Thanks for having me.
Not a problem. Now, last time we had you on was what Larry brought to my attention. I wasn't aware of the date, but it was actually a month before the pandemic. And it was actually right after, I believe, the Beyond Please Come Back show where you wrestled Orange Cassidy. That was the last time that we had you on. And since then, obviously the pandemic hit. Kind of threw everything, including wrestling, into a complete whirlwind. And didn't look like... Well, it looked like the bigger companies were going to be able to withstand because they were still running. But it was still a lot of uncertainty with smaller independent promotions, whether or not they were going to be able to figure it out and stay afloat. Now, during the pandemic, what did you learn about wrestling yourself? And
I learned about how much beer I can drink. That's about it. I mean, I didn't really learn anything wrestling wise. I didn't learn anything. I couldn't do it. I mean, nobody could do anything. So I guess you just learned how much you miss the interaction with the fans and with fellow wrestlers and just people in general.
Well, and after the pandemic, or towards the end of the pandemic and slowly opening up, Camp Leapfrog was born. And as far as we're concerned, one of our favorite promotions to watch, especially because a lot of local people that we've already been supporting through the Wrestle Factory and Old Shikara. So, and you got in with Camp Leapfrog. You've worked obviously a couple other promotions. What is it like compared to all the other promotions, Camp Leapfrog?
Oh, it's a lot of fun. It's I don't want to say silly, but it's borderline like silliness, which is awesome to me, which is really cool. Every show has its own motif and theme, which is pretty neat. You know, they had a Valentine's Day show. They had a big man show. So the different kind of motifs, you'll never see me sing. Like I know during the Valentine's Day one, they did a cover of Love Shack.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll never see me do that, but that's pretty cool. You know, it's a little bit different than every place else. During the 24-hour Fight Forever show, I thought the Leapfrog thing made everything different in that 24 hours. You know, there was not a cybernetical type of match.
Mm-hmm.
There were not those lucha type characters really in other shows. Like a lot of the people you saw on that Camp Leapfrog show, that was the only time you'll see them in that 24 hours. So I thought it was pretty cool. So it's just a little bit different than, you know, what people are used to. And what's generally on IWTV all the time.
yeah, I mean, I think that's spot on when you say that type of character work, because I think that's what that used to be, the Wrestle Factory in Shikara. That's what they were known for, their different characters and whatnot, and focusing on that. And then it's kind of other places that you go, you see just wrestlers, and I don't want to say generic because everyone's got their own personality and whatnot, but it's really where you see bigger personalities and different and kind of like Bizarro World wrestling in that
Yeah. So I can tell you with LVAC, when the people that book those shows, every time somebody loses a mask, they're like, "Oh, come on! What's this guy's gimmick now? What's their character?" So that's very important. That's missing. You know, a lot of people, there's not the masked character wrestlers out there as much as there was when the Wrestling Factory was around. And that was pretty cool. You know, a lot of people liked that.
Yeah, I think they liked it just because of what you said. It's different, and it gives you that sense of it's a different style. It's not something that you're used to by any stretch of the imagination. When you think independent wrestling, you're almost invited into this almost luchador, underground. It shouldn't be where it is. You think you would see something like that in I don't know, Mexico or something like that.
Right? Yeah.
you're getting this different like hybrid style of wrestling, and it's fun to see. And then you see all these storylines that come together, and you see these teams that are matched together, and all these different personalities that are brought out. I mean, it's a testament to everything that they've done, the wrestlers themselves, when you see them compared to everybody else.
Yeah, it's a cool spot for sure. Camp Leapfrog.
No, and I think Camp Leapfrog, because we've sponsored a couple shows now, and with the character work and the storylines that they tell, nothing got me like the frog sport. Like the story arc that went match to match between Darius Carter and Matt Mikowski as they climbed their way to the finals. Like even that had that story built in, and it was so entertaining. And the wrestling itself blows you away because, like you said, there's that element of that little silly, and you don't expect them to be as badass in the ring as they are. And a lot of people will impress when they get that opportunity. And I think that's the one great thing about frog sport is the unexpected athleticism.
Yeah, I agree. And Mikowski is a beast, so any show he's on is definitely going to have a great part to it.
We lost you for a second. You froze. I'm going to blame Matt Mikowski for this. Every time you mentioned his name is when you froze. So I think it's only his fault that you froze so many times. So
all right, I'm not going to say his name.
Yeah, so we're just going to bypass him. We're not going to mention his name. But, I mean, it is. We'll try and pick it up from there. But aside from Camp Leapfrog, I mean, coming back, I don't think we're completely out of the pandemic yet, as much as we, like, some people would like to think. I mean, it's still very much still out there and whatnot, but crowds have picked up.
Of course, yeah.
Shows have picked up. I mean, it's nice to see that actual people are there to cheer on these shows, and it really is. It's like a breath of fresh air. It gives you a deeper appreciation for wrestling now. It makes you, like, before pandemic, I would say that it got to a point of where everyone is so critical on every little thing that's done in wrestling. I think now that, like, look, it's funny how that happened. Like, okay, you want to be so critical about it like that, it disappears. And you really wondering what's going on. It gives you a new appreciation. Like, I think for myself, personally, like, I was going down a rabbit hole of where I was like I was overthinking it. Like, I was watching, I was like, well, I don't like this. And I was, like, zoning in on what I didn't like more than what I did like. Like, now that wrestling's back, like, I was able to gauge it better. Like, able to, like, be like, all right, well, I know what I like. Let me reevaluate what I'm doing here and just fucking watch what I like and support the people that entertain me the most.
No, yeah, you don't really appreciate what you have till it's gone. I guess that's with anything in life. And, you know, that's one thing I guess the shutdown pandemic kind of brought to light. And yeah, wrestling's in there with that. And it's hard wrestling with no live fans there. It's hard to get motivated. It's hard to get pumped up. It's hard to get excited as a wrestler. And it's a lot easier to wrestle with people reacting to something. When you have nobody out there reacting, you don't know what you're doing is good or bad. You're just kind of doing it. So when you have that reaction, it makes your job as a wrestler a lot easier.
I mean, especially for someone like you, for when you're in the ring, you kind of have, I think you know going into it what the reaction is going to be, given your list of opponents recently, at least. Like, you know the reaction, you want to be disliked. I mean, for the most
part. And, you know, when I scream Big Dan and nobody's out there, it's kind of lame.
You're just picturing someone across the other side of that TV
exactly.
going, they're booing you. They have to be.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So you mentioned the LVAC, and the LVAC held a show, was it this past weekend?
Yep.
It was Friday, Saturday, 2-night show. It was actually...
Yes, Friday, Saturday.
It was a drive-in movie paired with a wrestling event, correct?
Yeah, so each night there was 4 matches, and following the matches were 2 movies.
And these movies were geared towards wrestling, correct?
So yeah, the first night was They Live, Roddy Piper.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the second movie was. I didn't stay. The next night was Beyond the Mat and then Mr. Nanny.
And those you did stay for?
Yeah, those I did stay for.
Now, how is it wrestling in that atmosphere? Because that is unique in itself, wrestling at a drive-in. I mean, you're kind of... I mean, that's a given for a pandemic. People can be in their cars. They don't have to be, like, near you. I mean,
yeah, most of the crowd were out of their cars, so people brought chairs or blankets, and they were spread out in their little groups. So there's definitely reaction from the crowd and crowd interaction. But yeah, no, I like those kind of things. I don't like wrestling at a building that's pretty generic. Gets boring after a while. So I like wrestling at drive-ins or dive bars or where else do we wrestle? It's kind of weird. Malls, empty malls, things like that. Those are cool to me. Like that kind of stuff is really what gets me going. That kind of fun stuff.
It's kind of like, how do I want to put this? It's like that carnival aspect, like almost like.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like I don't want to put that stereotypical like, oh, they call them carnies for a reason, but it's like that carnival aspect, but it's that fun carnival aspect. It's like that entertaining. You're like, well, this is different. It's not something
exactly. That's exactly what LVAC goes for with their venues. I don't think you'll ever see them at a VFW hall or anything like that. They like to book their venues as things that are different and that are separate from separate themselves from other wrestling companies.
And you're kind of a mainstay there, or you are a mainstay at the LVAC. How did that come about? I know they are Lehigh Valley?
They're based in Lehigh Valley on it, and I'm the wrestling king of the Lehigh Valley, so it only makes sense for me to probably be the only wrestler that's been on every LVAC show in the past 2 years. And I make them the money. People come to buy tickets to see me. I keep Chris Reject's pockets full of cash.
And it was Dan Champion Day, or days, I should say, correct?
Yeah, May 21st was Dan Champion Appreciation Night at the drive-in.
Was this your first ever honorary
Appreciation Day?
Yeah, it was like almost like a holiday.
Yeah, the only one that's ever been recognized by other people besides myself.
Now, the people that came out to Dan Champion Day, were they there in support?
Oh, of course. Of course they were.
So they were not there to perhaps watch you fail and cheer. They were there for full support of Dan Champion.
I didn't even wrestle that day. I just kind of chilled. It was my day. I didn't want to break a sweat. Maybe I had a little mishap with Tim Donst and Tony Deppen. But besides that, other than that 5 minutes of agony, it was all gravy that day.
Now, you and Tony Deppen have a history? Or?
We don't have a history, but, that night, Tony Deppen was supposed to wrestle one of my good friends, a very good professional wrestler, who was injured like a month before. He broke his ankle. Mm-hmm. So Tim Donst was his replacement. I was out there to support Tim as, a very good professional wrestler's replacement. I tried to get involved. It didn't work out like we planned. And I ended up punching Tim Donst in the face accidentally.
So on your holiday, your appreciation day, you weren't able to get the job done for your friend?
Exactly. I let down the great Sidney Bacabella, and I feel horrible about that.
So is there consequences, or have you been forgiven?
No, of course not. I run that place. I'll admit I messed up, but there's going to be no consequences.
So now, one person that I mean, it's impossible not to see if you don't follow you on Twitter, that you have this rivalry going with is Erica Lee.
Yeah, she's a punk.
So this past weekend also was a championship match for the Pro Wrestling Magic Championship, correct?
Yeah.
Where you were pitted up against Erica Lee for that title.
So I was beat. Let me tell you what happened. I was in control of the match, And then like these idiots started chanting "poo poo pee pee." Totally threw me off. She got a lucky victory. I wouldn't make it. It was just because that stupid chant. It was so dumb. It hurt my brain, and I lost my concentration. And she was able to take advantage of that.
Now, what got you? Was it the poo poo or the pee pee?
It's a whole thing. It's so stupid. That's the stupidest thing I've heard. I've been wrestling for almost 20 years, and that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my 20-year wrestling career.
It was oddly effective, though.
It was oddly effective.
Now, does this mean you're out, or is there a rematch down the road?
You might see me pit against Erica Lee in the near future.
Will there be championship gold on the line?
If there is, great. If not, I don't care. I'm Dan Champion. I don't need a belt, to be recognized as a champion. So I just want to beat her and cause her great agony for the agony I feel every time she posts a stupid picture, a stupid tweet, or somebody tweets me something stupid about her. Like, it's every day. It's ridiculous.
I know for a fact we've been guilty of that at least once.
Yes.
Yeah. What the hell?
I would like to. That's exactly why we had you on, is because we wanted to give you a formal apology. We're not one that will tweet at you to apologize. We just wanted to bring you on to apologize, to cause you any agony. It's never our intention.
I appreciate that.
It's not a problem. Now, you mentioned over the pandemic that you found out one specific thing that you were very good at, and that is drinking beer.
Yeah.
And you
I always knew I was good at it, but I realized I'm really good at it.
And what clicked in your head? Because over the pandemic, there were different things that people were doing that were trying to keep them, I wouldn't say relevant, but they were trying to think outside the box and be like, all right, well, this is dumb enough that people will actually watch and appreciate, and it will keep me relevant while everyone is sitting there bored out of their minds, not knowing what to do with themselves. And your special talent is chugging beer very fast, and you've came up with the moniker Champion Chug.
Champion Chug.
Which is very catchy, I will say that.
Thank you.
So what the hell made you want to just document this?
So, like you said, people have been doing a bunch of stuff, reviewing Jeff Cannonball reviews soda.
That's phenomenal.
Awesome.
I put that as the standard.
Yeah.
Right. And Erica reviews candy, and everybody's reviewing something, but is it really a talent to review something? Is that a skill? Anybody can review anything. Like, it's not that cool. So there was like a thing going around that was like, you do a shot and then you tag a couple of people and they do a shot. So I was in a couple of those. I'm like, this is, baby stuff. Let's chug a beer. And I did it, and nobody would ever match me. So I'm like, maybe this is a talent I have. So I put it out there, and everybody's very impressed. Everybody. So it's just like one of those stupid skills I have. I can chug a beer really, really good.
I mean, it's something that's simple, though. In our age group, and I think a little bit younger, they can relate to that. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's always that guy in the bar that's really good at chugging a beer. I mean, the divier the bar, the better.
Exactly, yeah.
The longer the beard, the drunker the guy. He's usually really good at that. I mean, usually I give it to the heavy guys. Usually I will see a heavy guy that will be like a bigger dude that'll just be able to pound it. And I've known many of them. And it's like you sit there and you're like, it's weird that I'm in awe watching that. Like, I feel like that shouldn't be something like, wow, that's really fucking impressive. But it is. It's
there's no doubt that's impressive.
Raging testosterone through me, and the competitiveness of me. I'm like, man, damn it, I need to be able to do that. Like, it's just it hits it hits all the triggers in my brain. So, is this something that you think you can bring to the ring?
I don't know. Traveling with a beer is kind of weird sometimes. And I don't know if people would be cool with me drinking a beer than wrestling. But I have done it after the show with in film it. I did one with Alley Cat. I did one with Colin Delaney. I did one with Yuta. Beat them all. Mm-hmm. So I kind of do it now with wrestlers after the show.
So I think that might be the niche right there. I did see the one with Yuta,
exactly.
Yuta and Boomer didn't even try.
That's disgustingly bad. Like him him and Alley Cat were the two worst. Like why even bother? Like I felt bad posting it.
But you were a champion, and you need to show your victories
Right.
at all costs, no matter who it humiliates.
Exactly.
It is the champion way. Sometimes the champion doesn't have to be humble.
Hey, sometimes feelings get hurt.
That's life.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a life lesson that you're teaching people right now. I'm
That's
this
true.
good, and you have to be shown this.
Yep.
And if you can't keep up, then get out of the way.
Exactly.
I should be your spokesperson.
Hey, why not?
So, there's another person you're linked to, and ended up showing up. So I hear. Weren't able to make the LVAC show, but there was someone that did step in the ring and interfere in your match, and that is one Orange Cassidy, a native to that area as well. Correct? Did we lose him, or did we
Nope,
freeze him?
he's there.
From those parts, yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
there you go.
So he now I'm gonna word this probably improperly, but I'm gonna try to. Are you invested in watching Orange Cassidy outside of what he did in the Indies? Like, do you still follow what he's doing in AEW?
I do. I do, because you know why? You know why I follow him? Because 2 years ago, I had a match against him right when he signed with AEW. And I was going to win that match. And stupid Bryce Rensburg interfered, and I lost. And 2 years later, same thing. Bryce sticks his nose in my business, and I lose again. So I always thought, if I beat Orange Cassidy 2 years ago, I would have that AEW contract. I would have been on Double or Nothing a couple nights ago. But I would have got the job done. That's the difference between me and Orange Cassidy. I would have got the job done. So yeah, I'm invested, because every time I see something he does there, I always think, if it wasn't for Bryce, that would probably be me. Because I heard Tony Khan was at the Peaburg Mall that day, scouting talent.
So that was the reason behind the tweet of after Bryce got hit, you tweeted out,
This was your favorite part of
this
that.
is the favorite part of the match.
Because he's a scumbag.
Are you the only one on record to call Bryce Ramsburg a
I
scumbag?
think so.
Yeah. Yeah, probably.
So, where does that take you now that you've been robbed of potentially signing with the second biggest promotion in the country? How do you get to that point?
Well, I just got to, keep dominating the best promotion in the country, LVAC, like I have been.
It seems simple yet effective.
Mm-hmm.
Simple and effective. Yeah. That's my home. Orange Cassidy can walk in every now and then and make an appearance, but at the end of the day, that's my home. I say if Orange Cassidy can come or not. I say if Bryce can come or not. And I, once in a while, I'll let him come in, like at the show over the weekend. Sure, make an appearance. The crowd will be happy to see a couple TV stars. But what always happens? They always cost me my match. A nice guy like me, being nice doesn't win. A nice guy like me getting screwed over and over again by these big TV stars.
There has to be a point where you're not going to let them back then, right?
It might not, that might be the straw that broke the camel's back.
So, there's got to be a point of where you get the open invite to retaliate on national TV.
I'm waiting. They got my number.
I think that's where you can pull off the chug. I think that is the perfect landscape for pulling off the champion chug.
Yeah. I don't know if you're allowed to have beer TV. Can you drink a national TV now?
I'm pretty sure I've seen a Hangman Page drink a
I
glass
think
of
you can.
scotch.
I just don't think you can have
Yeah, you're right.
the company
you're right.
logo or anything.
Promote.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't promote
I see.
unless it's your own company. I think TV's your spot. I think that's your magic place is going to TV. You do the old school stand on their chest for the 1, 2, 3, and if you can chug the beer before the 3 count, then you get a title shot or something. There's got to be a stipulation for it. It's like
That's
the
a good idea.
old school 5 count.
Yeah, no, I like that idea.
Like I feel like that's where the money's made.
Con Bundy.
Yeah,
King Kong Bundy called for the 5
You're right.
count.
I got to get on that.
You finished the beer before the 3 count.
So,
I gotta get on
so
that.
we brought beer up twice now. So I think it's time that we all do the champion chug to end the show.
Now, would ours be
Okay.
a champion, or would it just be a champion in amateur hour?
Probably that.
I feel like that's going to be more.
You guys look like beer drinkers to me. I think you'll hang.
I think so. Pretty good pour, Lar.
Thanks. I'm experienced like that.
Pretty good pour, Lar. But not as good as mine.
I don't know. Be pretty good.
I'm nervous.
Are you nervous?
My nerves are rapid. I've never had to chug in front of the millions and millions of fans who watch this show.
All right. Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
There it is.
Nice.
That was cold.
It was very cold. That was good.
And it was Coors. It tasted like piss. Hold on. Are we allowed to burp after these?
I think we're going to have to. So, yeah, that's definitely an experience that people that are listening aren't going to really get. You got to see that to experience it. But
No, for them it's just going to be an awkward, like, couple second silence. So
Yeah.
you're doing yourself a disservice. If you're listening to this and you're not watching it, you're going to make sure you, if you're driving, make sure you put it up on the dash so that way you can swerve off the road when you watch this. But this was a visual performance.
You should post that chug on the Twitter.
absolutely,
Video of it.
we will.
We'll
I'll
make this a
definitely cut it up.
clip and we'll put Brotherly Love Wrestling Chug Off with the one and only Dan Champion.
Yep.
God damn it. I came in last
Yes, you did.
because I'm not the big guy.
Damn it. So, I mean, look, since we said it, we talked Joe's pint glass.
Did that make the cut?
It did.
It was on.
Yeah.
People heard that.
These pretzels are making me thirsty.
Are making me thirsty.
Yes.
We can talk a little pop culture
Hell yeah.
because, after all, I mean, professional wrestling is a part.
I'm a big Seinfeld guy. Big time.
Us as well.
So we had this discussion the other day. It always leads to just throwing out lines.
Yes.
Because
Quotes.
we quote. We were talking. He was bringing up Seinfeld tattoos.
Mm-hmm.
And he was on the hunt for the perfect Seinfeld tattoo to get tattooed on him.
Yes.
And we just went back and forth on lines of what we thought were going to be good tattoos, knowing the fact that if we got them, one, my wife would hate it and make fun of it. But I thought a great tattoo for Seinfeld is have each candy bar, put like a Almond Joy up there, Kit Kat, and just write Twix on top of each one.
Oh yeah, from the car dealership.
Yes.
Yeah. They were all Twix.
That's a great episode.
You could say that almost like
Every one
you
of them.
pull out a line and you'd be like, "That's a great episode. That was a great
Yeah.
episode." So
my favorite line is from the early episode when Jerry's at his like great aunt's house or whatever, and he makes fun of ponies. I hate killing ponies, and he goes, "Who thought an immigrant would have a pony?" That's my favorite line.
I hate anybody that had a pony.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
it's funny to think about and watch. You're like, man, like a lot of the shows that we grew up watching, like, man, they couldn't get away with anything anymore on TV, or the show would have been canceled immediately. It's like a joke is not a joke anymore.
There might be only like a handful of stuff, Seinfeld stuff like that, but not really that much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know? And like I watch shows for like I watch Friends, and like I hate Friends. Like to me, it's a horrible show.
Really?
Yeah, I don't like Friends that much. I watched it when I was younger, but now I try to rewatch it, and it's like, meh.
I watch things more for the lines that I liked. Like I could watch the same thing like 100 times. Like,
Do you guys watch Curb?
I have watched.
I have watched it.
yes.
Yeah, I mean that was
that's right.
that was basically Seinfeld on like steroids.
That is so good. I love Herb.
Yeah, I mean, you're basically living the life of my favorite character, which is George Costanza. I mean,
Yeah.
Costanza's character, I put him at the top of any character, sitcom character on television.
Yeah.
He's at the top.
Yeah.
Just
I agree.
because his just outbursts and the way he just flips out about everything.
Yeah.
George is getting angry. She's bald. You're bald.
This is a nightly thing. No matter what, we will always get into Seinfeld quotes all the time.
It's not so much Seinfeld quotes. It's that my day to day, I will bring up topics, and Larry will go, "Do you know this is a Seinfeld episode?" Because it's literally like just your day to day, and the way I'll like say something, be like, "This is a Seinfeld episode."
Yeah. That's happened to me too. Like, or something will happen. I'm like, this seems like something that could happen on Seinfeld.
It really is. I mean, it usually happens on the road. Like I'll sit in traffic and I'll see something. I'll be like, "Well, this could be a Seinfeld episode."
My favorite one is where George quits his job and goes back to next week like nothing happened.
I don't know. I'm a huge fan of Jerk Store.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, that's a good episode.
That and the cutting the candy bars with your fork and knife.
What do you use? Your hands?
Yeah. That's really good too.
Well, Dan, thank you so much for coming on, taking the time,
Thank you.
doing the Champion Chug. That was awesome that we got the chance to do that with you.
That's a free gift for everybody who's
Keep
watching.
practicing.
Yes, yeah.
I haven't practiced in a while, and we did it with a light beer. I've been more keen to. I mean, I promised myself I wouldn't be a craft beer guy, and I turned into a craft beer guy because I mean, over pandemic, I was just never satisfied. I was like, I want to try. I want to try this. I want to try this. I want to try this. And I started local, like right around our area. It kind of branched off from there, and I found a lot of really good ones, which is always nice.
Have you tried Separatist?
What is it?
Separatist?
Separatist?
Are you
No.
in Philly?
Yeah.
I
yeah.
think you're in Philly.
Yeah.
So there's one called Separatist, and they have a brewery up here where I live in Easton, and that's really good.
So it probably makes its way down here. I just got to find the right store.
Yeah.
Like, because there's 2 stores by me that have like a craft beer section, but a lot of it's local, and then like the bigger names like the Victory, the Dogfish Head,
Yeah.
like those. And there's a couple good ones in there, but I'm trying to get like the grassroots, like, because I've actually, like, I'm an electrician, and one of our like contracts was doing the electric in some breweries. Did about 8 of them.
Oh, that's awesome.
I've done, and funny thing is, like, they're fucking great. Like, they'll sit there, they'll give you a growler to take home, fucking, and they'll let you sample the shit while they're making it. Like, I don't know if you've heard of like Root Down, out in was that Pottstown? No, fucking, what is that? Phoenixville.
Okay, yeah.
So we did that one. They had a couple good ones. What the fuck was the other one called? The other one was something Night. No, Castle. Something Castle. That one wasn't as good. Like Concha Hawken, Evil Genius. Like there's a bunch of them.
Evil Genius is good, yeah.
Evil Genius is. I feel like Evil Genius is good name wise. Like they have a lot of catchy names. Like there are a lot of movie quotes and shit like that. Like I feel like they miss. And I know the head brewer that works there. Like I feel like they miss sometimes. Like they get a little too venturous, and it's like, all right, sometimes there's a little bit too much flavor, or the flavor is overpowering. I want some of that.
Yeah, I feel you.
I want some of that beer flavor that's in there. I just had a really good coffee stout, and I forget who the fuck made it.
Yeah, those are good. I think stouts are easy to chug.
Those are surprisingly
because it's not so much like carbonated, you know.
Yeah.
So
there's
like a light beer or whatever. It's got kind of has like the carbonation to it.
It's got the bubbly.
Stout
effect.
really doesn't have that. It just goes down.
Yeah.
That stout,
it's heavier, but it goes down easier.
Yeah, it looks heavier, but the coffee stout that I had wasn't heavy at all. Like I probably could have had, like I'm usually like 6 or 7, and then I'm like either full or I'm feeling good depending on the percentage. And then there's some that are like over 9%. I'm like, all right, 4, and I'm like, all right, I'm pretty buzzed. But that stout went down really smooth, and I'm fucking pissed that I don't remember the name of it. I gotta come better prepared because I know usually in your Champion Chugs you're doing like IPAs or something. You're doing
I'll do whatever. Like I'll grab a 6-pack of like random beers and just chug them throughout the week. I don't do it every day now because I started feeling like shit. So I'll do it like every now and then, or when I'm on shows with other wrestlers, and we do it together. But I can't do it every day because I did it for like 21 days in a row. I wasn't feeling so hot.
Jesus.
Now, were you
every day?
Were you stopping after the one, or did you continue to go?
No, it's just one, and then I'll be done. But even with that, I started not feeling so hot.
I saw that you mixed liquor in there too, didn't you?
Yeah, I've done a couple chugs with like whiskey and stuff.
Now that's some ballsy shit because you were doing. It wasn't like a shot. You were doing like full glasses.
Yeah. I would do like a mixer, but it would be like 3 or 4 shots. It would be like real heavy.
Yeah, I know. I saw a couple of them. I was like, holy shit, how the hell did he do that? And how is he walking it?
Yeah.
So if anything, if you did nothing else, you built tolerance up. I'm going to say that your tolerance was probably fairly high before
My tolerance was pretty high.
Not necessarily a bad thing.
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, I'm a big guy.
Yeah.
And I've drank for a while, so yeah, I have pretty good tolerance, yeah.
I think that's why you could get away with the Champion Chug in the ring, at least at the end of the match. That's why I think the 1, 2,
maybe at the end.
The 1, 2, 3, you know the match is over.
No, you're right. I could.
And I think that that's something that people would want to see.
I just have to start winning matches.
There you go.
That's where you always start. Start by winning, and then. But if you do the Champion Chug, I think that's where you'll see the wins.
Yeah.
You have something to work for at the end of the match. I need this beer. Like you should always reach for it. There's your storyline. You're always reaching for the beer. This guy just needs this drink. He's been out in the desert for days. He needs this drink. He needs this win.
Well, Dan,
there you go.
Thank you so much again. We really appreciate you taking the time, and hopefully we'll be seeing you soon.
Yeah, hope so.
All right, have a good night.
All right, good night.